I recognize a member from Ramsey, Representative Her.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I know lots already been said today, so I'm going to try to keep what I'm going to say short. And before I start, I want to just say that I'm not going to stand here and impugn the motives of Republicans. To be honest, I think that I'm friends with many of you across the aisle. I've sang karaoke with Representative Heinzman's daughter, and we did win $50 at this event, and I think we split it, so it's under the minimum of maybe what I can receive. You know, I've had Representative Gilman defend me at events in which someone said something very racist about people who speak other languages, and she defended me. And Representative Ingen played baseball with me when I was going to throw out the first pitch at the Saints game a couple weeks ago. So, like, this is not about impugning anybody's motives, but I would like for you to put a face to the name, face to what it is that we are doing here today, because I think that sometimes it's easy for us to other people. We don't know who they are. And, you know, I came about this information really in a roundabout way. So I missed caucus last night because we were doing end-of-life planning for my father. And I hadn't told my caucus, and I've been spending a lot of time with my father, who brought us all to this country at the end of the Vietnam War. And I asked my father about how we came to the United States. And I always thought that we came here because my grandfather was a colonel in the Secret War. And I thought that that meant that we were in line to come to the U.S. And my father told me that that was not true, even though my parents both worked for a Christian organization. And my father actually worked at the U.S. consulate because he was one of the few people who could speak English, and he could type really fast, and apparently that was a very valued skill then. So they had my father move away from the refugee camp from my mom and my sisters and I, and he went to live at the consulate where he processed all of the paperwork for the refugees that came to America. And we had missed our time to come to the U.S. 3 times, and if we didn't come that last time, we would not have been able to come to the U.S. And I said, wow, what luck of ours. And my mom said it wasn't luck. We did not have our names on that list to come to the U.S. because even though your grandfather worked for the CIA, and because there was no, like if you were a child of somebody worked for the CIA, the only people that had names to come to the U.S. were if you were in the direct military and you worked for the CIA or you worked for USAID. And which is why it's so personal to me that USAID is getting unfunded, but we did not do either one of those. My parents' Christian organization did not count. And so what my father did was one of our uncles worked for USAID, and because his mother had died, my father, as the one processing the paperwork, put my grandmother down as his mother. And so I am illegal in this country. My parents are illegal here in this country. And when we were fleeing that situation, never one time did my family say, let's look at which state has the greatest welfare and which state has the greatest benefits, because that's the state we're going to go to. Nobody leaves their country unless they have to leave that country. And that I asked my parents, were you scared coming to America? And I record all this because I can't believe that I'm going to be turning 52. I never asked my parents these stories before. And my mom said, we weren't scared. Because America, we knew, was the land of opportunity, and that if we worked hard, we could become something. And she said, and I said, well, did you ever miss Laos? Well, we couldn't go back for many decades. And the first time my parents went back was in 1989, and then we weren't allowed yet to go back into Laos. And so my parents, because they went back because my father was really ill, and they went back to try to do some natural healing because they told my father that he wasn't going to live past that cancer. And so she said they sat on the side of Thailand and looked across the Mekong River into Laos. And they cried because they missed their homeland so much that even in a country where you have all of these benefits and all of these privileges and all the opportunities, that you never want to leave your country. And I tell you this story because I want you to think about who it is that you are calling illegal. My family was just smarter in how we illegally came here. We had more privileges and more ability, which is why we came here in that way. Representative Schultz says that those who broke the law to come here. When you think about those things, people think about me. My family broke the law to come here. I never knew that. I just learned that now. So when you're thinking about voting no on this bill, you're voting no against someone like me who has paid more into this country than it has ever given to me. that the blood of my grandfather who died for democracy, that he never received benefits being in this country, and yet he paid taxes his entire life into it. That my parents who have worked as entrepreneurs and small business owners and people who have paid into a system, that right now my father is refusing to get the surgery that could save his life because he's afraid of the cost and the burden that might leave my mother. That we are the people that you are calling illegal, the people who are coming here in ways that we broke the law to get here, when we're calling people who are undeserving. I am that person. My parents are those people. And this country will never be able to pay back what my parents did because they raised 4 engineers and 2 daughters in finance. And that we have paid more into taxes, we've given more to this community, more in philanthropy, more in what we've done, that this country will ever give back to us. I'm asking you just to give everyone else the same opportunity that my family had. That however they got here, they didn't want to leave where they were. And Representative Schultz, we are not looking to what state is going to give us the best benefits. We are looking to just be alive. That is what we are doing. And so please, when you press that button today, I hope that you choose yes, because you're choosing yes for someone like me, like my parents. Thank you.